Seychelles, Comoros, Madagascar, Mauritius, those are the countries where Wanjohi Kabukuru has worked as a writer and communication specialist in water resources.
When you go out there, you come out more refined, more sharpened. You see the world differently.
Welcome to Daring Abroad, as Wanjohi shares his experience abroad and why he returned home. This as Kenya hosts the first ever global conference on sustainable blue economy.
The skill I practiced most was communication.
Science writing is a neglected area, but for Wanjohi, this is what has made him see the world. And he's grown from just being a print journalist to a communication specialist. He's now based in Diani, South Coast, Kenya, actively involved in raising awareness on conservation and proper utilization of marine resources.
Nilikuwa nimepeana order.
Wanjohi is currently the editor and head of the Indian Ocean Observatory Media Unit. He came back to Kenya with a wealth of experience from Seychelles.
For all those years I stayed there, there was never anything like even anybody disturbing a tourist. No way, no one. They wait for you in their stalls, in the shops. You either come in or you don't. And they will still be comfortable because they know the way the system is designed, the tourist will definitely buy something.
Here it's free for all.
Here it's free for all. It's very organized. The beach operators know where they're supposed to be. Then you have beach police. That dugout canoe, the dhow there, you will never find such in Seychelles or Mauritius. They have modern boats. All of it the fishermen themselves can afford.
Wanjohi's journey to Seychelles began with a job advertisement by the Nature Seychelles organization.
Nature Seychelles is the leading conservation agency, NGO in Seychelles. So what happened, they were looking for somebody who could be able to translate scientific information because that's what they generate. Turtle conservation, seabird monitoring, whales tracking, coral reefs management. So they were looking for somebody who could translate the science itself for the general public. And so what I did was, like everyone would, I dared. And it was a chance of a lifetime when I was told I was the successful one, that to go and work in Seychelles. That's how my journey began.
This was in 2008, and Wanjohi was introduced to a new chapter in his journalism career.
The operations manager, Bernard Solomon, is a Kenyan. So he made my transition into Seychelles very easy.
Language?
Language, English, French, and Creole, but English is official, Creole is the national language. French is also considered like a national language there.
The Seychelles is an archipelago of 115 islands in the Indian Ocean off East Africa. It's home to numerous beaches, coral reefs, and nature reserves, as well as rare animals such as giant Aldabra tortoises. Her population is about 95,840.
We would do inter-island travel to go to the sites where conservation was taking place. And that's where we would participate in conservation, active conservation management.
When one relocates to a new place, weather and food are some of the factors that will make one like or dislike the place before being used to. Wanjohi enjoyed the tropical weather of the Seychelles, but for food, it took him time to get used to.
I was the normal beef gentleman. Now I had to move to seafood.
The 46-year-old Kenyan writer has a Bachelor's of Science degree in communication, meaning he studied communication as a science and not as an art. He further obtained a Master's of Science in Communications.
I went to the University of La Crosse, Wisconsin in the US. That's where I studied communications up to the highest level. I also studied in UK, Nottingham, and I majored most of my courses, now professional courses after you've already done the undergrad and the postgrad. The professional courses, most of them were done in South Africa at Wits University and at Rhodes University. Then I got into the field, started at the Star in Nairobi, then worked for a short time as a correspondent to the Standard and at the Nation. Then I joined the People. After I left the People, I joined New Africa magazine, whom I still correspond to this day, the New Africa magazine based in London as their East African correspondent.
As Kenya hosts the first ever global conference on sustainable blue economy, Wanjohi will be among the guests who will be sharing their experiences at the Diaspora Side event at the conference.
I've been invited to the Diaspora Side event, and I'm glad I will definitely be attending the Diaspora Side event on the Blue Economy Conference. It talks about the wealth that can be gotten, can be accumulated when we pick from the diaspora to be able to build what we have domestically.
And that brings us to our Miles Away segment, which today is about the role of the diaspora in the development and investment in the blue economy.
Let's begin by understanding what the blue economy is all about, as explained by the Principal Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Macharia Kamau.
The blue economy is anything that has to do with making us prosperous, rich, making the country wealthy, and helping us create greater things for all of us in the world based on our water. That's the water in the lakes, the water in the rivers, the water in the oceans. That's the blue economy.
The Blue Economy Conference is something that is closer to you than you may think.
We have rivers, we have smaller lakes, Lake Nakuru, Lake Naivasha. We've seen just with the potential of Lake Naivasha, for example, a very, very small lake. But look at the amount of economic activity around that lake, tourism, conferencing, flowers and horticulture, just that small lake. Can you imagine if we took that and expanded that so that all the lakes, all the rivers, and along the seashore we had the same industry and the same entrepreneurship? We could triple our economic growth.
There will be many side events. The Diaspora event, which will take place at Taifa Hall, University of Nairobi, will focus on 3 diaspora entry points into the blue economy. The first entry point is remittances. The second entry point is diaspora networks, which can be used for exchange and transfer of knowledge, skills, and innovation.
Every country in the world has a diaspora, and those diasporas contribute back home. And so we are providing an opportunity for those diasporas to sit around the table, converse on how they can maximize their contribution to their own economies through their work in foreign lands.
The diaspora can also play a key role in advocacy, and that's miles away. My name is Michael Zimanji.
The hospitality sector is a key stakeholder in proper utilization of water resources for economic growth, a sector that is known as the blue economy.
Tukiangalia bahari kama inaweza tunufaisha, lakini inaweza tunufaisha sisi sote.
Here at the Paradise Beach Resort and Spa, Wanjohi Kabukuru, a science writer and a Kenyan returnee from the Seychelles, explains to staff members what the blue economy is all about and why it matters.
Kubeba watu kutoka Lamu kuwapeleka ile watalii wanakuja cruise services. Cruise services zile hizo. Stakeholders, most of them haven't been involved as much. Not that they don't know. They know their stuff. They worked in it for 30 years. But you bring out the successful stories, the great work they've been doing. Now you bring them together.
Watalii wanakuja kwa wengi, imefanya mpaka wafanye kazi kama wakizidi katika vile wanavyozidi, pia tunafanya watu wanapata kazi. Ni kitu ambacho tumekuwa tuko nacho, lakini kwa vile tumepatiwa jina tu tofauti. Maana yake kusema ukweli, bila maji ni uhai.
Back to Wanjohi's experience, and this is how working abroad impacted on his career.
The atmosphere was conducive enough it was like it helps you to think deeper, to reflect more. And it's what actually now pushed me to 100% ocean conservation and communication. Blue economy communications, 100% write-up is now on how other ecosystems merge with the oceans.
That's how the abroad changed you.
That's how the abroad changed me. So I would say it had a positive impact rather than a negative impact. And then it helped me see not the tiny Seychelles, not the box that is Kenya, but now you see the entire ecosystem as one. From Southern Africa, Madagascar, all the way to Somalia, up to Eritrea, then combining and boxing the whole Western Indian Ocean, from Maldives going downwards all the island states.
Wanjohi returned to Kenya in 2013 after spending 6 years in Comoros, Madagascar, Mauritius, and the Seychelles.
Comoros and Madagascar, the height of poverty is very high. The Seychelles economy that survives on tourism and fisheries, that was the first one for me. Almost first world standards. What made me return was I saw the bigger picture. In Seychelles, I couldn't have a wider impact. But from Kenya, you can be able to have a wider impact, not just along the Western Indian Ocean belt, but across the world. Reason being, in Seychelles, the communication, the information outlets, the media, isn't as vibrant as in Kenya. Kenya is known as a region, as a country that is vibrant. So you are able to influence more when you're in Kenya than when I was in Seychelles. When you go out there, you come out more refined, more sharpened. You see the world differently. There are so many sayings which tell you until you have sampled what is out there, you will always think your pot has the best dish. But the reality is when you go out there, it opens up your mind, it opens up your perspective, and it helps you now even to become better at what you're doing.
That's all we had time for on Daring Abroad today. Thank you for watching. From Diani, South Coast, I'm Alex Chamada. See you again next time.